No,
Yeah.
she
Now
never. Oh wow, that's crazy.
no. The kids never even passed.
Well,
Wow.
well, first of all,
Now, I'm a responsible father. They're fine, but
Right. Well, that's
there's
because
some
you have
kid.
them now.
There's
well,
some kid somewhere else that might not be. You know what I'm saying? This shit's fucked up.
yeah. Well, let me ask, what was the relationship at the time? Were you and her married, or were you just parental?
No, no.
Okay, but you
I'm
had
just
kids
the
together.
father. I'm
Okay,
just the father.
were you kids with her?
We lived together.
Right.
We
You had
were engaged,
Yeah.
and while I was at work, she would have the kids. She was out doing drugs.
Right.
She got the kids exposed. The levels that were in the kids' hair was 3 times that of a person who would single IV use.
Did the house ever
Wow.
did the house ever fail a hazmat inspection?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what the deal with that is. The good news is that you're totally in the right. You have the law is on your side and everything's on your side. But I understand where your frustration is because where are the kids now? I mean,
They're with me. They're with me at
Okay.
my parents' house.
Okay, is she trying to get them back? Is there?
I mean, right now she's trying to get me to drop these felony charges,
Yeah. Well, hold on.
but I'm not going to.
Hold on before you. Well, I'm not saying you can't do it, but make sure you get concessions with it when you do so. That's the key. So you can agree, you and the judge can agree to any damn thing.
Right.
I mean, technically, I mean, there's limits to the law, but I mean, that's and all I'm saying is that first of all, was she arrested? What? How they? What?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
she's arrested.
So the police dispatch have me on recording
Yeah.
screaming on the hood of my Lincoln Aviator
Okay.
while she's driving 25, 30 miles an hour in a hotel parking lot trying to sling me off of it.
Well, to me, I got some issues. Number one with assault, because to me that's attempted murder.
Right.
I know the last motherfucker in Arizona that did it. The girl ran her husband over and did kill him. Yeah, they told her even if she had killed him, it would have been attempted murder. They did. I mean, but the thing is, see, you got a lot of that's. I'm a social worker, but I'm a former case manager. But I'm also I help veterans. I'm a veterans attorney de facto.
You know what? This is the perfect time to do the formal introduction. What's up, guys? You already know it's C3 the Wavemaker, man. I'm here with Nathan Martin, as always, and this is a special guest. This is Mr. Steve. He's a lot of things. I'm gonna let him continue with all the things he's into. Go ahead.
Yeah, for all those out there that are watching the podcast, my name's Steve Jones. I'm a 100% disabled American combat veteran. I served in the 101st Airborne Division. I got my old discharge and was rated for disability for post-traumatic stress disorder and my lower back, my lower extremities. But anyway, the good news is I came home, retrained, and got my degree in social work from the University of Tennessee. I have a BSW with a 30-hour minor in psychology. And I'm a candidate for master's, but I don't think I'm ever going to go back and finish master's. I don't look forward to working in that field, but it's political science, by the way. But anyway, went to work for DCS as a family preservation case manager, and we'll get to that later. And I also worked, but my heart was with veterans, my fellow brothers of the sword. So I made sure I got a transfer over to the State Department for Veterans Affairs, which is called Tennessee Department of Veterans Affairs, and I became started as a VBS1, which is a Veterans Benefit Counselor. That's the guy behind the counter just fills out the form for you. And then I went through the law course, administrative law course through the state, and was certified in 2007 as a Veterans Claims Specialist 1, which is an attorney de facto. They prepare, present, prosecute all cases before the Secretary of the Veterans Department. So anyway, now I'm pretty much retired. I just play music. I'm a drummer, and I like to play a lot of golf. So that's what I try to do these days. But anyway, I came on the podcast to be with Chris and his friend and talk about some things with veterans. It'll be really informative, and if you get a chance, you should get you some pen and paper, and maybe I'm sure you can rewind it if you want to. But there'll be some things on here, some references, some easy things for veterans to do that they may not be aware of. And And hopefully, if there's any families out there, maybe we'll get into DCS enough too that we can cover some things there because it's very important to know your rights and the laws as they apply to you because that's everything. I don't care what anybody says. People say they don't give a damn, but the reality is, it's sad that there are people that will not tell you your rights when they come out to your house, and you should know those, as much as possible. Anyway, so I'm Big Steve from you. I was in the Army for a long time, but we'll get back to Chris and. We'll talk to you guys.
Yeah. Well, I made sure to let him know how we do our podcast. We're definitely no holds barred, and we get in trouble all the time for talking about shit we ain't supposed to talk about. So I told him we can get as raw and real as he wants to get. We've had a couple of conversations like privately, and he knows a lot. That's one of the reasons I was like, man, you got to come be on the podcast. So we're gonna get into a lot of stuff. Business related, because me and him are actually discussing some things, setting up a nonprofit, and we're gonna, do a few things with that. That'll be pretty cool. And a whole lot of things actually. I was very intrigued by the fact that he, actually goes and represents these disabled veterans in court, to get them their benefits and. I think that's one of the most crazy things in the world is like we send them overseas at 18, to, basically die so we can live all, free and clear over here. And then when they come back injured, we're like, fuck you, get out of here. It's the most insane thing ever. So I love the fact that he goes to bat for these guys because really it's just a lack of knowledge. Or the lack of belief in yourself that you could actually do it. I mean, you can pro se litigate, man. And everybody says you can't be a licensed, or you can't be an attorney without a license or whatever. That's bullshit. If someone signs power of attorney over to you, you can act on their behalf. It's that fucking simple. It's a contract. And they cannot infringe on your right to privately contract. That's a fact. So you can represent other people. So if there's other veterans out there that are knowledgeable in this shit that know, or even just people that have been through the process and got their, benefits and shit. Like if you've done it, like you can help represent somebody else and let them, get their benefits too. My mom went through that shit with the Social Security. It was ridiculous. It's crazy. So I'm definitely excited to get this going. Nathan, you got anything you want to
add? But like concerning this subject,
or just anything, it's just Lifestyle Libraries podcast. You know how we do it.
Yeah, I mean, I just have the usual stuff. I just put out a research paper for those of you who don't know about how the BitTensor blockchain. So we're comparing. BitTensor and Bitcoin have the exact same tokenomics. Mm-hmm. So when Bitcoin was at 9 million to 10 million tokens, its average price was $10 to $12 with a high price of $119. BitTensor has an average price from 9 million to 10.3 or 6 million, whatever it says in the paper, with an average price of $278 to $328 and a high price of $757. That's comparing the same tokenomics. So Bitcoin follows Reed's law, which is the number of users squared. Okay. And because BitTensor has the 128 subnets, which is like 128. Yeah, doesn't it
do it like wouldn't Bitcoin was like every 10 minutes or something, and BitTensor's like every 30 seconds or something, or 3 seconds?
Oh yeah, the blocks are faster. Yeah. So instead of being 12 or 10 minutes, it's 12 seconds. But the halving is all the same. So it does have a much higher, faster throughput. But anyways, it is 2 to the exponent of the number of users.
Yeah, that's insane.
So right now, at 9 to 10 million tokens, BitTensor is outperforming Bitcoin by over 3,000%.
Wow.
That's crazy, isn't
That
it?
is a little insane, isn't it?
That's a 300x.
Yeah.
That's out there.
You get that, man. You literally you get that all the time in crypto, dude.
Well, but this is the
All
thing,
the time.
though. This is the thing, is that they're going to soon be adding more subnets. And each of the subnets, their alpha tokens are set up with the 21 million tokens. And the demand for the BitTensor token is going to go through the roof. So people are worried about getting scammed. It costs $80,000 just to get a spot, one of the subnets, just to start.
Yeah.
And they have a performance thing to where if you don't perform and people aren't investing in your project, they kick you out and resell your subnet.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
You know what?
so
I guess it's a good time to get it back on topic. Everything that's like, all the court proceedings and everything that he handles, are eventually going to be done with smart contracts and on the chain, right? The courts, all the payments, all the benefits, everything's going to be handled through blockchain and, done that way. So it's going to limit. What a great time to like get in there and start to learn this shit, right? Because in a couple of years, I'd say in the next 10 years, like a lot of attorneys will be out of business, man. Because a lot of the legality shit's going to be handled through smart contracts. The coding's going to do it for you. Once you build the code, it can replicate with the push of a button. We do it all the time. We're training the AIs as we speak. So all of this, if we're doing this shit from the studio in the basement and shit, I mean, the government's been doing it. They've already, put this shit to the next level.
They say that
if they give us the
DARPA,
technology, they've already got everything they need from it, and now they're letting us know about it.
What do you
they say that DARPA is 20 years ahead of anything that we've ever even heard of.
I don't understand. What I don't understand is how society is going to. It's going to phase its own self out of the workforce. I mean, with this AI
Well,
stuff.
I don't believe that.
I mean,
Here's the thing. Everybody said the same thing about like the Industrial Revolution, right? Everybody was so terrified about the Industrial Revolution. They said all
And the
these
combustion
machines
engine.
and all this stuff was going to put people out of business. It was going to ruin jobs. And it created more jobs than anything else in history.
that's true.
It will put
well, think
pressure on
about
the
it.
lower class, though.
Yeah.
It will put extreme pressure on the lower class.
Oh yes, it will.
There's
It
going to
will.
be a dark period, but it's not going to phase. So what I think what will happen is general labor will be replaced by AI and robots. We'll
Yeah.
go on a universal basic income,
Yep.
and that they're already starting to do it with like Zora and things like that. That creativity is going to be more and more monetized.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, it should be.
That's out there.
Here's the thing. Yeah, the AI is going to completely eliminate all kind of mindless work, right? Autonomized tasks and shit like that. Just simple replication shit. They're not going to need people for that, but they're going to need people to code those AIs. They're going to need people to service those machines. They're going to need people. You know what I mean? They're going to need some thinkers in there to come up with this shit.
I once wrote a paper at UTC as an undergraduate. I suggested that women get paid for labor, and they called me a socialist. I don't know what the hell they're going to call us now, but I mean,
Isn't that crazy how just the time
Yeah.
period determines like everything?
You
Well, the
feminists.
rule of thumb, you used to be able to beat your wife with a stick as long as it
Feminists.
was no bigger than your thumb. That's crazy.
Feminist.
So, shout out to Boondock Saints. 'Cause
That's crazy, but it's true.
it's weird though, society seems to class themselves like, listen, this is going to sound crazy, but I shit you not, I don't think half of Americans can name more than 6 presidents.
Oh, I don't think.
I mean, there has to be a balance though between, because I do believe I'm that uncle that believes that kids ought to be out breaking their arms.
Yeah, exactly.
But they should
Exactly.
be in school too. I mean, there's a balance there, and I just think it's it's very weird because in the military there's a big push for education. That's how you get points.
Well, think about it. You don't want idiots out there with the guns. Supposedly, protecting us.
Yeah, what was it? The Seneca said he said it in Republic. He said, "Well, what makes a great warrior?" And I think Thucydides and Plato come to the conclusion that a warrior has to be smart. Mm-hmm. And a leader, but not too smart.
Right.
so I don't know what a cutoff.
Well, you know what it is. Like a warrior has got to be very intelligent, but not so intelligent that his will for survival and self-preservation, can't be like overruled. So,
yeah, I saw an amazing thing in Somalia. It happened right there in the theater. We had two guys, and I'll never forget them. They were Delta Commandos, and they volunteered to go down into when one of the Black Hawks got shot down. They volunteered. They requested several times. And they were told, we know that they were told, you know the deal. So they've been through it 1,000 times. I guess but to know that lines exist. And that, to know that there are two men that said, you know what, life doesn't mean that much to me. I've done what I need to do. I am who I am. I am what I am, and this is my time. This is my, this is what I got to do. So, to see people do that, and to know that our training works, and to know that that men like that exist, makes me feel a lot better about the country and about just life in general. Because you don't see that every day, but it's one of those things that. It is what it is, but man, just heroes. I tell you all the time, I just lived through it, and these guys, they did the ultimate sacrifice, and that's why Shugart and Gordon, I'll never forget their names, man. Just men that just who does that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, they teach you now, don't volunteer. My uncles, when I went to the Army, they all got me the same gift, soap on the rope. You know what I'm saying? I look like Carl Lewis going to the damn 1980 Olympics with all that soap around my neck. But you get into the culture and you just realize that, man, there's a level of warrior out there, and they're just way out there. But see, like, I don't know shit about Bitcoin. I would like to learn it, but it seems so intimidating. But it seems so intimidating, and yet I can lock it over in 60, clean it, but I do not know Bitcoin.
That's what everybody
thinks.
It's
not as hard as you think.
It really isn't. But to tell you the truth, like, a year and a half ago, we probably, about a year and a half ago, I didn't know shit about Bitcoin.
I mean, me's about a year.
Yeah, really.
Well,
and literally from that point to now.
So it's a course. So it's literally a course, right? It's not something you just pick up one day on a Wednesday.
No, I'm gonna tell you, it's like this. It's like this. It's something you're gonna pick up on that Wednesday, and you'll never fucking once you get it, you're like, oh my god, you'll never.
I could
fucking
teach
stop.
somebody in 4 hours.
Yeah, literally, I can sit you in front of these screens and break some shit down that'll melt your fucking mind in about 30 minutes. You'll be like, "What the fuck just happened?" I show everybody the same video when they come, and I made $14.95 in change in 49 minutes, right? So that's $15 an hour. That's better than minimum wage.
Yeah.
Now that wasn't even what I was really. That was just in the little pennies and like gas fees, basically, from transacting, changing these assets out. So I made $15 an hour to pay myself my own money and borrow. It was crazy.
Well, I suppose, I always understood that, I've never really been great at the concept of Bitcoin, but I know that some people, my dad, man, he bought a bunch of CDs. He thought CDs was going to be it. Well, now guess what?
Well, that's the thing about technology. Eventually, it's all going to be obsolete.
Well, the thing about the CDs, though, is stable coins are buying all of those, and CDs will eventually start making money again. They're just not right now.
Yeah.
So, do you glean information from it? Is that what it is? I mean, basically,
Bitcoin basically it's an algorithm that's set up on the blockchain, right? Mm-hmm. And there's only a finite amount, right? So there's only 100 million.
No, 21 million.
21 million. Okay, so 20 million coins, 21 million. Period. That's it.
They set that as
that's it, right?
So
but the algorithm,
the value will never go past a certain.
Well, I don't know, because think about it. Once those 21 million are out in circulation, and now what? Now you're talking about fucking in the eye of the beholder, right?
So right now there's 20 million tokens. Over the next 100 years, they release the next 1 million tokens. And it's fraction. It can be broke down into fractions.
And the
it's
more
exponential.
tokens are released, then the harder the
Algorithm
the
becomes.
algorithms becomes. You know what I'm saying? So they have you got. That's why they set up these miners with all this computing power and shit all over the world.
Yeah,
Because
so-
you got all these machines, these computers that are racing to solve this problem to collect that reward or that gas fee, right? So and whoever gets there first gets it.
This
That's wild.
is the miner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why we got all those power banks back in the back, and we got these servers and shit going, and we're upgrading all the hardware.
So it's not too late to get into this.
Oh no, it's perfect time. Well, perfect time would have been in the beginning, but now is perfect outside of that because
So what's it take to get like an investment to get started? You got the equipment.
You can start with
got a phone.
$1.
You got a phone. You get on the app store. I'll have you some Bitcoin in the wallet in about 2 minutes. Matter of fact, shit, you just download the app and I'll send it to you right now. Boom, that quick, that easy.
Yeah.
But now, if you want to get into like some of the cooler shit, like over here,
Bitcoin's not what
these
I
are
would-
crypto-backed loans, right? So I purchased the asset, right? Once I have it in my wallet, it's mine. I have control of it. It's whatever. So like even the dollar bill, that's centralized.
Oh, yeah.
It's controlled by the Federal Reserve.
Oh, yeah.
It has no real backing outside of the
No, it's
faith
just
in
net
the
based now.
system.
Yeah,
There's no real value. But Donald Trump did just sign an executive order creating a crypto reserve. So that's the first time since the Emergency Banking Act 33 that we've actually had value backing some form of currency.
We still have an A bond rating.
Well,
But you know how those bonds are operating, man. Give me $30 billion for 30 years,
But
and
that's
when it
what-
matures, give me another fucking. Here's another bond.
Well, yeah.
And then the Fed just prints that shit out of thin air when they get that bond, Don't.
Right.
And then
the
think about it.
difference-
It's attached with interest from the get go, right? So they print it out of nowhere, and every dollar that's loaned is attached to interest. You owe more money than's printed.
But
And
You
the
owe more
difference
money
with
than is in
Bitcoin-
circulation. That don't make sense.
The
You can't
difference
pay it
with
back. It's an
Bitcoin
impossible system.
yeah.
is that Bitcoin, because that algorithm takes compute and it takes electricity, and that it's a proof of work, it is not produced out of nothing. It
Right.
does take work.
Right. So
And
there's value. There's energy.
The
There's
Bitcoin network is the largest computer network in the entire world.
and also the 5th largest asset in the world.
Right. Just right behind gold and silver.
Yeah. So think about that.
Damn.
Bitcoin, what, 10 years ago? 15 years ago?
15.
15 years ago. And in 15 years, it went from nothing to as valuable as gold and silver.
We're the 5th largest asset in the world. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
I can see fighting the war with gold. It's really hard to see fighting over Bitcoin.
Well, you know what? Because here's the problem.
But I'm
Here's
sure
the
you can't,
disassociation with it, right? Because it's on a computer, or because it's on a phone, or because you can't actually hold a fucking coin that is it doesn't seem as real to people.
But this is
But
the
they
thing,
just don't
though.
understand.
If technology fails,
They don't understand the technology's been in place, man.
Yeah.
Like
If
you've been using
technology-
digital currency. If you've used a credit card,
Yeah.
you've used digital currency. You got a mobile banking app on your phone. You got Chime, or you're using fucking digital currency, man. It's fucking it's debits and credits at the banking systems. Is all
If
it is.
technology fails,
But now it's
gold
putting
won't
it in
be
the
any
hands
good
of
either.
you, the people, right? So now instead of you having to go to an intermediary, open up a bank account, which when you're doing that, you're granting the account, but you're basically giving it's their account, really. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Kinda.
Right.
They shut your shit off if you don't know what you're doing, and tell you what to do with your money, and then tell you gotta wait 3 days before you can get. Fuck all that, man. No, I don't want to wait 3 days. I want my money right now, and guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get it right now.
Yeah, I definitely want to know more about it.
It's amazing because it makes it easier. It makes it so the little guy can do the same shit, right?
And that's what Bitcoin done. Was it decentralized banking, and instead of it being in the hands of the elite,
Right.
it has put it
Everybody can do it.
in reach of any person.
Yeah.
There's any person in the world that can
Can do it.
operate a computer.
As long as you've got access to the internet.
Yep,
So-
that's it.
And you know what? You don't even have to have access to the internet right now. Right? I know a dude he was really heavy into crypto. And then for some reason he just stopped and went back to work and did his thing. and he didn't log in or get on any of his wallets or apps or anything for like 2.5 years. When he logged back into his wallet, instantly like $2,600 airdrop.
That's wild.
So you just set up a wallet, guys. Just make a fucking wallet, man. Maybe somebody will send you something. It's that easy too. All you have to do is have the wallet address and make sure that it aligns with the proper chain, you know, because you don't want to send the wrong because everybody knows Bitcoin, but you know there's Ethereum, there's fucking XRP, there's Algorand, there's fucking Chainlink, there's Avalanche.
And if you send it wrong on any of them,
yeah. So if I try to send Bitcoin to the Algorand blockchain, that shit's gone. It's gone. It's disappeared. It's out of there. So what you'd have to do is wormhole that shit. You'd have to wrap it.
Something like I had with that Cash App.
Well, that's kind of like it's like if you were in Belgium and you had like you know, Turkish dollars or some shit. You know, you'd have to exchange that shit into a form of currency that you can use in that jurisdiction.
But so Bitcoin will be just like all your other money transfers. When you get to the airport, at one point they'll have a Bitcoin there.
Right.
I mean,
right. Well, now they've got Bitcoin ATMs and shit right next to the ATMs.
Right.
You know, and so what it was, El Salvador had a big battle with the IMF over whether or not people should have to accept Bitcoin as payment or had the choice.
I could see the military really being forced to use it, and I'll tell you why.
I'm going to tell you what I think. I think the military is exactly the ones that made it.
Well,
because they couldn't pull the same shit they did the last time, Emergency Banking Act, right? When they just said, hey, by the way, guys, no more gold. Everybody's like, fuck you, I'm getting my money out the bank. And then they had to do all this shit, right?
I was one of the last troops to get.
What better way, man? They slide that shit in the back door and act like the government ain't got nothing to do with it. I hate that shit. It's a scam. Don't fuck with Bitcoin. And then really the whole time it's them.
Well, 92.
That's the way I do it.
Yeah, in 92, I remember being told, muster in the gym, we go to the gym and they paid you in dollars. They had an officer come out, had this thing hooked to his
paid you in dollars. That was after it swapped out.
After they made you take half your payout in traveler's checks. Yeah, that was to protect you. You know, you went out there.
Well, the banks were failing. Right, everybody went on bank runs when they pulled that shit and started pulling all their money out. So all the banks had to do all this crazy shit.
But I can see
they created the FDIC and everything.
Yeah, I can see them telling the military it's going to be Bitcoin pay, especially if they purchase within the AFIS system, the Armed Forces and Exchange Network. So I can see that happening. I mean, I think it sounds like it's going to take off big time.
Right now, there's no debate over whether or not the blockchain is going to be used. It's really just a debate over which ones are going to be used.
Right, which ones will be. Which ones will
because you got like Ripple with XRP and everything. They just went. Had a big ass lawsuit with the SEC over whether or not the cryptocurrency token XRP was going to be considered a security or not. Right, and the final ruling on that was that it's not ruled as a security, even though some of the transactions that were used did classify as securities. You know, it was all tax shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't. Ultimately, they didn't want they didn't want to lose the case and be classified as a security because now it's no fucking different than any other SEC regulated financial instrument. You know what I mean? Fuck that. We don't want that. So the whole point of this is decentralization, right? Fuck all the meme coins. Yeah, you can get rich off that shit real quick, but you can also lose every fucking thing, including the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So be careful with really utility, right? Like this, it's just the evolution of finance is all it is, man. It's just like when we went from the fucking paper dollars we're using. That started as a receipt from the bank where you put all that heavy ass gold.
Yeah, and I believe
right. And motherfuckers didn't want to walk around with $2 million in gold.
I believe you could go into a bank and actually get gold in exchange from it.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Is like you drop your gold off at the bank, they'd hand you a receipt, and then you could take that receipt and exchange that as like a bearer security, and whoever holds that receipt can then go to the reserve.
That was the system that was instituted by the Knights Templar.
Right. The exchange and then that evolved into kind of what we got now, to where we're using those same little receipts because that fucking piece of paper ain't got no money. It ain't got no value. That's just a representation of the real value, which is a debit somewhere in a fucking account held by the Federal Reserve.
Yeah. What was his name? The guy said, You can keep a country's army, but if you want it controlled, give me their bank.
Oh, yeah. Was it Napoleon? No.
Shit.
What was his name? Damn, I know who you're talking about.
He's-
Anyway, yeah, that's the way. Well, now they don't
Ansel
even.
was his first name, I think.
Well, now they don't even fucking do like they used to. You know,
Yeah.
they used to send in a whole fucking troop of you guys to go in there and slaughter the shit out of some shit,
Right.
blow a whole bunch of shit up,
Yeah.
and then take control of the country. Well, now they'll send in 2 or 3 little economic hitmen with a couple $1 million, get some of these fucking, higher ups in a couple of fucking loans that they're going to default on, and now you owe us this, and now we got your fucking country.
Oh, yeah.
And if that don't work, well, then we'll send in the old school assassination team.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, either way, yeah.
Look at all the people. Gaddafi wanted to fucking use something other than the dollar to buy oil. Dead. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Saddam Hussein wanted to fucking do the same thing. Guess what happened to him? Same thing.
It was personal to him. It was personal to him. They hung
didn't find
him.
not a single damn bomb.
Yeah, they
They
hung,
didn't find not one fucking bomb,
but
bro.
they hung Saddam. He's the only. To this
Yeah,
day, I
'cause
think
he
he's the only
wasn't
Middle Eastern
going.
leader I know they've ever hung.
That's crazy, bro. They hung that man like on live TV, I think.
I think it was. I think it was the
insane.
Old West kind of.
And then Osama, they just threw his ass in the ocean. How the fuck are you gonna catch the most wanted man in history, and you just dump the body in the middle of the ocean where nobody can see it?
Well, notwithstanding conspiracy theories, I guess I think the reason would be they don't want to have a shrine because you can imagine,
martyr.
you can imagine burying him in downtown.
Yeah, but but doesn't it make it a little like? Couldn't you have brought it back and then dumped the body?
Well,
Let us see it. Take a picture.
Yeah,
Take a selfie and then dump it.
Well, they're a very strange society
there's a
anyway
lot
because like a sheep can be going down the road over there and do 120 miles an hour and say an 80. It automatically takes the money out of his account. It bleeds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but-
you know how they're
yeah.
using fucking blockchain technology and social credit scores.
Yeah,
Man.
it bleeds and then it pays. It's fine, and then he goes on. So
Yeah, you know how you get around that? You get a tag from another country. Let them send the fucking
right, yeah. Have it go sit somewhere, but they all of them get oil.
It's all
production
about
checks.
thinking outside the box, man.
Yeah, they all get oil production checks. Every one of them, and they get lots of it.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of other foreign governments that do some really cool shit. The Netherlands their prison system is amazing.
Oh yeah,
They offer huge incentives for felons and convicts to take trade schools, get degrees. So you go to prison in the Netherlands, car thief, and get out of that motherfucker as like a trained technician to go work in somebody's car. You know what I'm saying?
I think they give you
take that street knowledge and put it to work, guys. That's what we do.
Yeah, I think they get like 5 years of the benefit. Like they expect you to cut, fall off the wagon, because
because there is really it's targeted more toward reform.
Yeah.
Than punishment, right?
Well,
like over here, our penal system is just about fucking you up.
I had a buddy,
Right? Let's make it hard. Let's fuck him over. Let's take everything he's got and let's lock his ass away and treat him like a fucking dog.
I had a buddy that called me from.
Don't nobody get better.
Yeah, I had a buddy called me from Rossville Boulevard. Man, he was behind a hotel down there on the boulevard. And he called me. He just got off the bus from Knoxville. In Tennessee, you have to go back to your original jurisdiction, to your probation or parole.
Yeah.
And he calls me, and I'm like, "What the hell?" They gave him a $25 bus ticket. Put him on the bus with his belongings, and that was it. And then told to report to parole. And I thought, well, no wonder the system's failing. I mean, you don't have any incentive to be there. I mean, in Tennessee they make furniture. I think Tricor. I think they I don't know, they don't pay them for it, but they make money off of it. But I think you gotta have some money to start. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't expect people just to. I don't know though. I've been down Rossville Boulevard a few times, man. It seems like our town's become just inundated with a homeless problem. I mean, it's really pretty bad. So it's I like to see them implement that more. Get them paid. What do you expect them to do when they get down the road? I mean, I'm not
come back.
Liberal, but
that's the whole point. In America, we don't want them to go fucking get their shit together.
Yeah,
we want them to come back because then we get paid. The prison system's all privatized and shit now, right? There's big fucking money in keeping us locked up.
Yeah, no money in the cure.
Right? It's the same reason why the war on drugs is the biggest fucking load of bullshit ever. Because they want that shit to be illegal, and they want to bring it in because now I can fucking make thousands of dollars off of that fucking $20 fucking little half a gram you got busted with.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I can charge you with a whole bunch of other shit that you're gonna bond out on, and they're gonna create securities and sell them bitches on. You know what I mean?
As a former soldier, I don't I don't even understand the concept. What gets me about it?
Yeah, the war on first of all, can we be specific?
Yeah, there's no capital.
Which drug are we fighting right now?
There's no high ground. There's no ridge to take. There's no high ground. There's no capital. There's no.
Yeah, where's the
army.
fucking battlefield?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the
What
line.
is this?
Yeah. I just thought
It looks like a simulation.
if they want to have a war on anything, they need to have a war on trafficking. That shit they need to put a stop to. I mean, that's something.
Well, like I'm saying, they can't put a stop to it because they're the ones doing it.
Yeah, well, the Somalis now have come to this country.
Well, I mean, think about it. Back in the day, Nicaragua, I think it was, like, they were fucking, taking the drugs, bringing them into California, selling them to Rick Ross, and then taking guns and shipping them back to the fucking rebels so they could fight and throw a coup.
Yeah, it's definitely an oxymoron. But yeah, I never did understand that, the whole, like I say, I told my friend who was in, he's been a lifelong blood his whole life, and I said, what you guys have to worry about is in Somalia. He says, you go to more and more as you go to prison.
Yeah, well, think about it, bro. The Somalians are the only people that will still fucking jump on a fucking ship and pirate the fuck out of some shit.
Hey,
to this day, bro, you don't go sailing around Somalia. They're going to fucking take your shit.
I'll tell you guys something that's hilarious. We're going around a convoy, me and my assistant gunner, for every 3 trucks go out, you got to put a 60 on the top of the rear one. So we're up there mounted on it, and we're taking our laundry in the port, in the Newport. So we're going to take the laundry in the services, have it done, bring it back. On our way down there, Somali, I mean, they're all running that. I mean, these sons of bitches run like a Ford 40-year-old. I mean, I'm just telling you, I'm up in the truck, and I look over and I see this Somali, he's catching up to us. Right, we're going to be doing 40. So, anyway, he jumps up in the back of the truck, and my buddy, he turns around, and I catch him in time. He raised his M16. I mean, his M16, yeah. He has M16, so he let go of 60. I got the 60. He turns around, and I stop him. I'm like, what the hell? Lance, what the fuck are you doing? You can't shoot these.
He was about to let his ass
I really just put a sergeant in Fort Leavenworth making little rocks out of big rocks for like 20 years for doing that shit. You can't do that. He goes, well, they come up on this truck, you ain't going to get it. So we get in for it. I'm like, thank God we didn't have an international incident. Well, guess what? The kid had jumped up, and when he grabbed one of the bags, took off. So, guess his laundry's missing when we get to port.
Yours.
Mine. Yeah. So the commander says, well, don't worry, Jones, we'll find him later. First, somebody sees scrubbing his knuckles on the ground, the guy to have your tunic on. So, yeah, it's weird shit, but it's just funny that you say that when you mention them, because, yeah, they're horrible. I'm sorry, I'm not putting them down, but I don't like their culture. I don't like the burqa. I'm sorry, I don't like the way they treat women. Just personal, but I don't hate anybody. I'm not hating on them, nothing like that. I just don't.
Yeah, it is a different.
That's what got Chris. Yeah, that's what got Chris Kyle killed.
Yeah. Hey, did you have any trouble signing in, Nathan?
I just waited a long time.
In the waiting room?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think that was because you were dealing with.
Yeah, I was doing some other shit. Mark's acting like he can't get in the meeting or some shit. I don't know what that's about. Because I ain't got no fucking. All I have is the waiting room. I'm trying to tell him, bro, you got to sign into your Zoom account.
Man, I can't blame him, man. Technology is this.
Yeah, it can be confusing.
Yeah.
But, man, it's just like anything else, though. It's not that fucking hard, right? Nobody knew how to do algebra either until they told you how to fucking replace that 1 with an A, and then you're like, what the fuck would I do that for? And you're like, well, you don't really need it unless you. But you know what? When you're doing like advanced calculations and shit, you do need it.
Yeah.
Right? We see 2-year-olds operating tablets now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. My 3-year-old is a beast, bro.
Yeah, I used to operate SINGAR systems in the Army, which are single channel ground airborne radio systems. They frequency hop 1,000 channels per second in unison. So highly technological, you know. And I just put the ANCD fields in them.
Have you ever heard of a Cerebros SDR?
Say that again?
Have you ever heard of a Cerebros SDR?
I'm not sure. No, I was in the
what it is it's a Cerebros software designed radio that you set up these 4 antennas.
Yeah.
And you can use them to locate people that are using hand radios.
I wonder if that's microwave based.
I don't know. I have one. It's just a little box.
It's got to be radio frequency or something, right?
Well, yeah, they got different forms of that direction finding equipment. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I've been out of the Army for a while, but the SINGARS was like high tech. I mean, it was like I say, you had to I'd have to bring up the net, do a net call, tell all the stations in the net, stand by for your field, and I'd plug it in and then turn the little thing and send to the field, and I'll have it, and they had it in the queue, and we'd all.
And I need to get your information because I'm really interested in learning, like, some of the basic foundational militant foundational skills of radio communications and stuff like that. Because if China ever invades, I figure all I'll be good for is maybe carrying radios and washing socks.
Well, let's hope it's not that bleak. I'm
not fucked up with it. I'll do it.
Let's hope it's not that bleak, But I can. I'd be more happy to help you guys. Like I say, that's one of the things that really helped me as a veterans claims specialist, because I've studied military history my whole life. My dad was a Vietnam veteran. A lot of them were in my family. So I mean, I just know a lot of history, our history and their military history. So it's really helped me. I've had situations where I knew where a guy in Vietnam, what unit he was in by where he was at. And they were like, wow, you know that? And I'm like, yeah, it helps my craft, So you learn things like that. And a lot of the things in the military, I mean, they got so much stuff now that it's outrageous. They've got everything from, I mean, I trained on the HIMARS, the rocket artillery systems, and you wouldn't believe what those things can do. I mean, that's why we don't want to give them to the Ukrainians. They're afraid they're going to tap on Russia's front door. So, but it's everything in the military now is just so far ahead. As compared to in Vietnam, the last 10,000 recruits, the last 10,000 that were drafted, couldn't read. McNamara, the Secretary of Defense, waived the literacy requirements. So my question to VA regional officers now is, well, if they couldn't read, which is now today, while they still have arrows down the side of AT-4 tank killers, so you know which way to point it. I mean, they still have that there. But
that's crazy.
But to know that these guys couldn't read, how do they expect them to read a complex legal document in administrative law?
They don't.
That when the VA says, okay, here's your supplemental statement of the case, we're working on this and that, we have this evidence, we need this evidence, we want you to do this. They walk you through the whole thing, but it doesn't do any good if they can't read.
That's a fucking onion with so many layers of bullshit. Oh, yeah. First of all, that's how they get everybody, right? Oh, the legalese is the way they fucking got us. Yeah. Right? First of all, nobody fucking reads nothing else. Most people haven't read a book since high school. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's the truth. And they probably didn't read that except for a book report. You know
Most in prison.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
You beat me to the punch on that one.
All right, so nobody reads in general. They're not reading these contracts to begin with, and even if they did, it's like fucking written in Old English and shit. So they're confusing as fuck. Yeah. Nobody understands the terminology. Nobody gets what they just want to sign. They just know if I sign this shit, I'll get that car.
I think it was Washington that said the key to a healthy politic and a healthy democracy is a well-educated and informed electorate. And the problem with that is, I said it several times.
It's too much pushback when you got an informed population.
Yeah, but the cockroaches are out breeding the lions, man. I mean,
well, they always are. I mean, but look, you know what? Here's the thing. We got this soft-ass, cushy society, man. Survival of the fittest really don't fucking fit no more. Yeah. Right? Literally, most of these fucking idiots would have died off. Well, like, we wouldn't have to deal with them, and that's just facts. Most men, you're not a fucking man.
What do you guys think about this?
You fucking can't do nothing. What do you mean, man?
I say this to people all the time, and I just want to get you guys' take on it. I tell them, I say, everything they ever told you is a lie. And they're like, oh, yeah, I know. I said, well, do you really know? Do you know what the greatest lie they ever told you was? And, no.
It's okay.
I tell them, so, well, the greatest lie that they told you is that you need to be stringent. Your schools, athletics, your family, friends, stand up for something, you fall for anything. Be stringent. Well, that's not what the man who wrote the book on survival of the fittest says. What he says is the greatest characteristic that an organization can have is that of flexibility. Yeah. If you can demonstrate
think quick, jump on.
Yeah. So think about that. Just in that simple axiom, they're actually trying to teach us to die.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. Conformity, right? They don't want the creativity going. They don't. Well, that's why the kids are in school, like, fucking until they're 18. And guess what they're trained to do by the time they're 18 is punch that fucking clock and hit the work. Yeah. Right? Yeah, it's literally the same thing.
Yeah, there's so many positions now in the military for drone warfighting that it's. I had a friend whose nephew went. He came back. He didn't make it. He didn't make it 10 days. And he came back and he said, "Man, it wasn't like they showed in the movies." I was like, "Yeah, you still got to go through basic. You still got to go through that stuff." But yeah, it's one of those things that it is what it is. But
it is. Dude, it's crazy. But the whole system is like monopoly. You know, it really is.
And it's just little things too, like in the VA system. You know, they do one little thing that will, you don't even realize it, but they do these things that are constantly. They classify veterans as eras. Like you got Vietnam era veteran, you got Gulf War veteran, you got World War II era veteran.
What are the like technical implications to that? Like,
well,
does like a Vietnam vet, for instance, are they entitled to more money than?
Well, here's one for you. Check this shit out. Brian, regional director that he's speaking to us at a convention, and he was saying the VA's gonna have a policy this year. I think this is in 2008. He said that we're going to allow Afghanistan's veterans' first claim to go to the front of the line.
Oh shit!
Okay,
so that's like an issue in first priority security.
Well, the thing is that here they come off the boat and they're going to go ahead and get their first claim to go to the front of the line. Well, you know what that does? That puts all the Vietnam veterans who had to wait, and so they got to wait for the Afghanistan's first claim. Afghanistan veterans, if you're OIC, if you're
that's crazy.
Served during the War on Terror, you get your first claim when you come back, and they usually do it for you in service. They do it before you get out of service.
So is that still in place now?
I think that system is. So what they do is, well, it may not be now with the closure of the war, but you know what their reasoning was when I asked them?
I'm curious.
Well, we're doing this because we don't want the Afghanistan veteran to feel neglected like the Vietnam veteran did. I'm thinking.
What? So let's go ahead and just stomp on them Vietnam vets a little more because they can take it, right?
Yeah, and he said this in front of every officer in the state. We were at the Maxwell House.
That's insane.
They always have a big gig at the Maxwell House every year for training and stuff, and he told us that. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I can't believe that. That's really the excuse you're going to give is that. And I just thought, don't you think that, we shouldn't we, I say first in, first out was my point on it. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
that's the way it should be.
Yeah, it's the only way to be.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, but just little things like that. And what happens is, now the Afghanistan veteran says, I'm going to put my claim in. And now the Vietnam veteran says, well, hey, what the hell's going on? I mean, are we always going to be last in line? I mean, what, and then you got certain areas that have certain disabilities that go with them. Like, Vietnam was really the first. They knew what PTSD was, but they just called it shell shock in World War II. So it changes, but it's they categorize the veterans into eras, and those eras, there's always going to be some bravado involved. It's always the World War II veteran was the tough guy. Vietnam was. I mean, you see a lot of competition between those. I've always felt that we're all on the same team. Combat arms wins the day. So I tell peacetime veterans all the time, hey, you signed the check, same check I did. You raised your right hand and swore to, give your life. You did. You didn't have to. I can't. You don't hold that against them. We can't all go to combat, and we can't all, some of the best people I've ever seen were in support. I got shot at more than I did in support. I saw more action I did than being in an actual combat unit. So it's a changing world. Definitely, it's not the same as it was. And I, but I'm glad I served. But I'm not glad I'm still in it now. I'm too old for that. But some of the stuff they do in the military now, I don't quite understand. But still, shout out to the Army. But yeah, talking about what you were talking about with DCS. Yeah, some of their, and I tell people this is very important to know. It's very important to know. I've actually suckered the DCS case managers that were going out to see some of my clients, and these were my friends, mind you. They knew I was a social worker, so they'd always call me and say, "See, DCS is over here at my house." I say, "Just tell them, hold on, I'm coming. I'll be there in a minute." So we get over there, and I always ask the workers the same thing: did you advise my client that? Because he is my client. If you need an ROI, he can just give you one right now. Most of them were single fathers I was very good friends with. And they give me an ROI. I say, yes, Steve is my social worker. He works pro bono for me. And you answer, I'm not going to answer any questions. He can answer them for me. So I usually ask him, did you advise my client? I mean, has he been arrested? Are there charges pending? Is the DA involved? Is there any legal basis by which to come to the house? And I say, no, we just got a call through the Central Data Bank, which is their anonymous phone thing. And so And I always tell people this is how you should handle this. So I tell them, so are you going to disclose to us who keeps calling into the central data bank and creating a case for no reason? Are you going to tell us that? And they're going to tell you, of course not. No, we don't do that. That's our policy. Well, policy can't trump law. And the Constitution guarantees you your right to face your accuser in an open court of law, to answer questions, to refute things, to clear your name. It's not just enough that it goes away. Your name should be cleared. So when you ask them that, they say, no, we're not going to tell you who did that. And then that's when you tell them, well, you need to get the hell out of my property, get off my property now, because if you're not going to recognize my 14th Amendment right to due process and equal protection under the law, then I'm not going to recognize your bullshit policy process of coming into my home and telling me that I have to do something I don't have to do. And usually they'll lie to you, or they won't tell you the whole information. They're supposed to let you know. They're supposed to tell you. Now, you know, if it's a system, I mean, if there's a case where there's proven child abuse, stuff like, I mean, you know, you're not going to get much leeway from them. They will, but I've seen them try to get people to sign paperwork they shouldn't, and they don't tell you the whole thing, what they should tell you. But I've seen them abuse that power several times. In Tennessee, they have the Brian A. case. They actually sued. The problem is they couldn't keep up with 116 of the state's foster kids. They didn't know where they were. They knew where the checks were going. When they went out and did the inspection, the kids weren't there. And this is under Commissioner Miller, I think, back in might have been 05. Yeah, I believe it was 05, late 05. And so what happens is the state gets sued because these kids are lost, they don't know where they're at, and so now they have to meet such a high standard they can't possibly meet all the requirements it is to make sure you get them out. I've seen them trying to violate the interstate compact by sending a kid out of state to California. I know he's autistic. I worked with him, and I knew that was about. You know, people just don't know, you know, what goes on. It's a war out here, technically, over your rights, over your sanctity. I mean, it's just no means no. You know, some people they don't. You know, it's like when a cop says, you know, can I search your vehicle? And you say no. Well, if he's on body cam, when he gets to court, the litmus test is going to be, and you can prove it, because the judge is going to ask the officer. If he don't, you can. If you had probable cause, why'd you ask me? You know, it's simple as that. It's very simple to relate law and its application, you know, to your life, how it applies. I mean, you know, nobody's perfect. We all speed a little bit, both on the road and off, I guess. I mean, America's a society that lives as long as you're not bothering anybody. But I don't think anybody should pay their whole life or lose their family because of something that they didn't do, you know, or something that is really totally blown out of proportion. And I remember a case where a girl she was 23 years old and had 5 kids, I think, 5, and I just had a new one. It's the third time the state been involved in her life, and because they said she had an unkept house. I said, well, define an unkept house. And they're like, well, there's some molded food in the refrigerator. I live in the 4th largest county in the state of Tennessee. I'm a degree professional. I make, you know, $50,000 a year. There's going to be molded food in my refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? And so for them to try to apply something like that is really ridiculous. And so, you know, I told him, I said, you know, I interviewed her. Come to find out, she was a victim of marital rape, and this is why her house was unkept. She was depressed and having any, you know, she's upset, and the DCS had come in and taken the child and let the mother keep it. This is totally, I mean, she's losing her mind. So we got in, and I got in and got the kid back. Did a case in Alabama that way, where the kid was visiting, the dad got stupid, and that kid was taken into foster care in Alabama. I had to go down there and help my friend who lived in Georgia tell them this child is a resident of Georgia. You can't keep them in Alabama. That's a violation of the state compact. But they'll do it. They'll do it, and they won't tell you about it unless you know somebody. And later, that woman was inspired to be an advocate herself, and she helps people. So as you do more advocacy and you teach it and people learn it, it carries over. So that's why I believe in podcasts like this, and I believe in just even if you're doing general information, you know, because these things, you never know when something like that
changes the world.
And when you in your own life are experiencing something, and you know, and you hear it, you say, "Hold on, wait a minute, you're a veterans claims specialist. You work for the VA."
Yeah.
Well,
as soon as I heard that, we was like, "Oh."
But it sucks because I never turn them down, and I I make enough money. I don't charge them. But the thing is, it still takes a lot of effort, work. Now, most of it I can do blindfolded, but some of it, when you have a Agent Orange case, that's different. I've won the first Agent Orange case in the VA system.
I bet that's a battle there.
Oh yeah,
because that's like that's a whole.
Well, you can go on Reddit and read
industry.
You can go on Reddit and read the whole line. The guy, I mean, it's all you don't have to keep it private because he posted his award online after he won. He'd been trying. This veteran been trying to win it he was my birthday, the day I was born. He was stationed at Fort Gordon, Georgia. He's an MP, and they put him out. They assigned him to as an MP to the game warden. So he's at Fort Gordon, Georgia. And he's in the game. He's out there spraying.
Shit, man.
Yeah, so he claims he fished out there. He was a private, didn't make a lot of money, so he supplemented his income. I believe that. It's a very believable statement.
That's even worse.
Yeah, in the VA system, you don't have to prove beyond a preponderance of the evidence. You don't have to get. In fact, the law says when a veteran brings any contention or claim to the matter of equipoise, that is to say that it is 50% grantable or 50% deniable, you must favor the veteran. Yeah,
that's something that probably a lot of people don't know.
Well,
because everybody's stuck on that whole burden of proof and beyond a reasonable doubt, and nobody ever makes that distinction. So that's pretty cool that you pointed that out.
Yeah, well, there was a fire in 1977 that took out on Page Boulevard in St. Louis. That's where the military personnel records are, and they had a fire in 1977, burned out a lot of records, so the military had to go back and refurbish those and try to redo them. So that's what they've been in the process of before. But now it's the technology. I mean,
it's automation.
Yeah, my adopted father, the guy that taught me how to be an attorney, he was a Marine, and he used to make fun of us. He'd say, "I don't get you bastards. Y'all know exactly what the hell y'all was, Gotham City, the 46 parallel. I just followed one foot in front of the other, followed the bastard in front of me." He's an old Marine, so that was his take on it. But it's definitely a labor of love. But I enjoy helping both families and veterans because they've stacked the deck against so many subclasses. I mean, and to me, it's like it's just horrible that that the government, for some reason, assumes that its position is naturally leveraged right in between, family and access. So, you just have to, be dedicated to making sure, because sometimes it's not worth it. You see these the First Amendment audit guys, they'll say, "I don't answer questions. Am I arrested? Am I under arrest?" That's all they say. But in the end, they're leaving. You know what I'm saying? Because they told them, "I don't answer questions. Can you articulate to me what I did?" "No, but I need to search your car." "Well, you're not searching my car because you don't have a warrant." "You don't need a warrant." "Yeah, you do." So, but those that stand up and don't worry, they say, "Well, I know the law. This is what the law says." They usually come out winning. But a lot of people are afraid of violence or backlash by police officers and are just being arrested for no damn reason. So it's a hassle. You still got to make bond. You got to get out. And you got to sue them and all that crap. So it is what it is. But I hope it gets better. And with podcasts like you guys, I believe that the electorate's going to be more informed. And then the more informed you are, the less shit they can do to you, man. The less they can stick their nose in your business and force you to do something you don't want to do. And that's what it's about. Because as a social worker, our main axiom is free will. I'm not necessarily an advocate of gay and lesbian rights, but that's who they are. That's who they are. I have no problem with it. I don't glorify it, just like I don't glorify heterosexuality. But I believe everyone has their place, and I believe that the more informed you are, the more apt you are to be in that place still. Because I've seen too much dirty stuff in the military and out that really you'd be shocked. You'd be surprised what professionals tell you behind closed doors, and it's just amazing. People have signed away their lives and not even realize it, and that's why you got to know the T's and we'll cross I's and we'll cross T's and dot the I's, because one thing can just really mess up your day, to say the least. But the DCS thing, they make assumptions and they do things that they don't really understand is detrimental. And why would you take a child? I've seen professionals call DCS and report children who were dirty, and when you go out to their place, you find out that they don't have running water, but they do have a hose that runs from the neighbor's house, and they are taking showers, but they live on a dirt floor. They do have that thing still here in Tennessee. I've seen it in Polk County, matter of fact, Reliance, Tennessee. So
that goes on there quite often.
Yeah, and so when you go back to the school and you tell them, no, I'm not going to take these children from their parents because they've done nothing wrong. This isn't abuse or neglect. This is a family that still lives by the Appalachian culture. Okay, they, for whatever reason, that's their choice. And they're like, well, they don't have running water. They don't have to have running water. State law doesn't say they have to have running water. They have to have access to water. Now, till their neighbor tells them you can't have water no more, I'm not taking him into custody, and if he does do that, I'll go get him some damn water. But I'm not taking children out of their homes that they've only known and close to their siblings. They get on the bus every day, they get off the bus every day. But no, I'm not going to do it, and you should be ashamed of even thinking that when you tell them that. And so what I do, I said, look, let me show you how to handle this. We go downstairs, we talk to the wrestling coach. I said, Coach, can some of the kids, can we get a locker? And I'm going to sign a voucher and get some toiletries and they're going to come to school. They're going to shower at school. Is that okay? Sure. Yeah, we're here every morning. Weigh it in. Okay. Problem solved. But you don't have people thinking out the box anymore. They just assume it has to be this way and blah, blah, blah and all that. And it just, it's really, you have to be creative, man. You know what I'm saying? I remember working at Mox and Ben as a technician, a mental health technician as an undergraduate. And they didn't have foot powder. And we had a horrible breakout of well, you can call it jock itch, basically, but it was foot. They had their feet were infected with, what they call it, jock itch or athlete's foot. It's the same thing, but anyway. So the whole one pod's broke out into it, and it's spreading fast. Another pod with other males, it's okay, but I'm trying to tell. I go up to get some foot powder. They don't have any. They're out of budget. Well, it's August. What the hell do you mean? The fiscal year starts in October. Huh? We're out of it. We didn't have enough to last the whole fiscal year. I'm like, well, we better do something because if we don't, look, I'll just buy them so you can't do that. That's a gift. What? I can't do it. No, that's a gift. You can't do that. Okay. We'll just improvise. So we go back to the shower. I call the dudes together. I said, listen, guys. To do something that we had to do in the Army. They're like, well, so you got to urinate on your feet. They're like, what? I'm like, listen, we don't have any foot powder, okay? And it's what they do out in the field, okay? The bacteria in there will kill. It'll give you some relief when you're not itching and scratching all the time. It ain't going to kill it, but it could, it may. Some of the drugs you kids are on. Some of you probably drink enough alcohol, probably too, killing itself. But anyway, a very funny incident happened out of it. They agreed to do it, and it did give them some relief. But that night, when they did activities of daily living, which is everybody's taking a shower, we have to go in there and make sure everybody's safe. And we stepped out. One of the technicians in there, we stepped out, and we heard one of the kids yell, Mr. Steve, I said, what's wrong, D? He said, well, A won't pee on my feet. I said, no, you idiot. He's not supposed to. You pee on your feet. If I catch you peeing on your feet, I'm going to whip you on myself. So you get funny incidences with these kids, but, like I say, it may sound gross to people, but them kids scratching and bleeding.
I've done it. Feet on my feet. I do it all the time in the shower.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, people aren't real about it, but if that's what I got to tell the kid to help him, that's what I'm going to do, I mean, so... But it's a shame that they got enough money to give each of the lackeys up in the corporate office or up in the headquarters, a raise. But they don't. But they can't do that. They can't increase budget spending for something as necessary as rash powder.
Well, and I see this generally. It doesn't mean everybody, but this country generally suffers from an issue of not truly valuing the youth. Yeah. And what I mean by that is, yes, you may value your own children, right, but you don't genuinely value children as a whole.
Right. Well, they're even valued in different ways. You got male preference. You've got. There are the.
And while I acknowledge that is wrong.
Yeah.
But what where I kind of throw a kind of blindness to it. As long as you genuinely care about progression of the youth,
Oh
even
yeah,
though you might have preferences, I'm cool with that kind
yeah,
of. You
yeah.
know,
But
I'm a
it's needed.
I'm a single father of two autistic 2-year-old twins,
Mm.
and I had to quit my job
Right,
because now they've got separation anxiety.
right, right.
Uh, I mean, they scream and will start physically hurting themselves. So, like, if I get up to go to the bathroom,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I mean? And
yeah.
so, it,
I worked with an autistic boy about 12 years old. He was one of the ones that they're going to get him adopted out of state, and his father had died, and I worked with the family and helped him out. And but that kid was, he's now, uh, he now works in the local mental, Title IV agency here, and he's a part of their. He works there now, and he's the maintenance guy. And he works. He cuts the grass and stuff.
yeah,
And he's adjusted very well. You know what I'm saying? And I think most of in my experience, they autistics do better when they're learning when they can't. You know what I'm saying? When
yeah.
they
So
can.
they're going to therapy, several therapies every week.
Yeah,
Uh, we're hitting all the doctor's appointments.
yeah,
I try to keep them busy and stuff like that, but
yeah,
I had a choice. I was bringing home between $1,100 and $1,900 a week after taxes,
yeah.
and I had to make a decision. Hey, do I want to send my kids to
Right,
daycare?
right.
I mean, they're both deaf too,
Yeah.
nearly deaf.
Man, I can't blame you because, man, I tell you what though, I think it's a good
So I
choice.
just quit work, man.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice though. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
women do it all the time. Why can't men do it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, when there's something at
Luckily,
home, you know.
luckily, my parents are footing my bill right now. You
Well,
know,
well,
I'm
that's
trying
their
to start
that's their
this AI
grandchildren too.
agency and work from
Right.
home.
Yeah.
But man, I've worked construction my whole life. But I, just me personally, I could sit here and say that I prioritize my children, knowing that they're having these issues, and there was a way that I could be at home working with them
Right.
versus going to go make the dollar. I
Yeah,
just
man. I mean, how much
I
money do you?
understand, if some people may not have the the opportunity that I've got being able to
Right.
be at home in my parents' basement.
Yeah, but I mean
You know,
that's. But
but
yeah, but to me, it's the best. Look, I think if you ask me, and as a soldier and a veteran, I appreciate people like yourself because you empower yourself. You know, most people they don't understand it. You know, veterans take all things personally because the way we see it is. I tell people all the time: if you're not living your life, if you're not being happy, if you're not making the decisions that you need to make, then that's an insult to my sacrifice for your freedom. I tell people all the time: do what makes you happy, and it would seem to me that that you seem fairly happy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you might be happy out doing the construction thing too, but I don't think there'll be any better impact on your life. I know the 12-year-old child that I took in and had kept for a year, it made the biggest impact on my life. He had hypertonic strength. I had to deal with it, and I did. I found ingenuitive ways to do so, and I made a difference in his life, and he made a difference in mine. And my son and my wife were involved with it at the time because I made them a part of the process. And my son to this day will go off on you if you call someone retarded. I mean, if you use that word, he'll let you know. Don't use that damn word around me. He'll tell you real quick. And he's very, very kind and loving and very understanding towards us. And I couldn't have given
yeah,
him a better gift as a young man because he later became an EMT. Shout out to my son Ethan. He later became, and that's helped him both ways doing that. And that's the thing, with families, when you're getting a life-changing experience that's going to affect you, and I'll tell you something else too, it's not going to leave you having regrets about, man, I wish I'd built memories like this,
yeah. So
you
something
won't
I've
face
noticed
it.
about these kids is so both of my biological parents are engineers,
Yeah,
and they're super intelligent, but they can't regulate their emotions.
Right, right, and that's it. That's a lot to do with. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a very
they're all the
hard.
time trying to build stuff or take apart something.
Yeah,
And I'm like, man, this is my opportunity to put them in, I try to take them to the YMCA and get them
right,
some social interactions because that's
right.
important. But
And,
I
and
can
there's always
I
that
can
one.
homeschool them and personalize their education
Oh yeah,
that's going to fit their their character type and
it's going to fit
you
their
know
needs. Yeah, it's going to
yeah
fit their needs. So
yeah
yeah,
and instead of just uh
the
them
cookie
just
cutter
being
can't.
tossed
Yeah,
wherever.
yeah, cookie cutter education can't do that. I mean, my belief is that all autistic uh, young children should be able to be homeschooled, but unfortunately, they don't have the resources sometimes. And but
Right.
I've always thought that was, and some people just don't want to do it. Man, to do it takes, I've seen people say, well, "I'm going to go and I'm going to homeschool them," and they say it as if it's just nothing. Like, oh yeah, they don't realize that's
Well, from the 8th grade on, I was homeschooled.
yeah, but it's you got to plan the curriculum. It's got to
Yeah.
be
Oh
set up
yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
You
So
got
my
to be
plan basically is to get them ready for a GD or high set.
right.
So it's just going to be math, science,
Yeah,
language mechanics,
yeah,
writing,
right.
history,
Yeah,
American constitutional, state, and federal
yeah,
law,
yeah.
Spanish,
Yeah, you'll need that.
a software language,
Yeah, coding.
and then the rest of it, because I feel like I should be able to hit all those topics, over the years
Oh yeah,
within about a 4 hour window. The rest of it is going to be catered to what do you want to try?
right.
What
Well,
do you want to
that's
try?
yeah, that's really the big part of, in my opinion, education is knowing what the individual is driven to do. I mean,
Right.
because it's really hard if you don't know if you don't have any not a clue of which way they're leaning or which way they're going. It's really hard to steer them in a direction because it's they just they just. And if you can happenstance into a career, great. I mean, but
Yeah,
I
my
don't think it works that
my
way.
my hope is that they'll take to law
Yeah,
and want to be some kind of judge or something. I mean, who wouldn't want a justice for a kid?
mm.
But
And, I never thought about this, but an autistic person may be better suited for it because although
the
you know,
attention to detail.
well, yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, I would think that they would be, again, by the emotion thing, they, I guess, but who's to say you can't do it on closed circuit TV? They did all through COVID. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
they did down in Georgia.
And
Uh, that's all you could do.
I have a feeling what it'll probably be is some kind of software engineering
Yeah.
or building circuits or something like that.
Yeah, we're not far from where I believe manufacturing can be done in the homes. I mean, not in mass
Yeah, but like
package.
the experimental, you've got your breadboard, you have on CAD mapped out what your PCB will be, you send it out to have a test one made or a few test ones, you assemble one,
Yeah,
it
3D
works,
printing.
and then you go into
Yeah,
production.
yeah, and the 3D printing thing is big. See, like you can imagine instead of a factory, you have say 12 homes in the neighborhood, and you got 12 over the other 12, and each one of them is producing off of that 3D printer, and then it's all shipped together, though, collected. I mean, I could see that happening.
So I'll tell you the revolutionary thing that the BitTensor blockchain is doing.
Yeah,
So what we're talking about is what BitTensor's doing. So they have 128 different companies
yeah,
that they are decentralized, so they don't hire anybody to do the work.
right,
They post it online through GitHub and other things,
right,
and you get the software and you meet their criteria, and then they have people that validate the work,
yeah.
and then that's how you get paid.
So that's
And
quality
so,
control.
for instance, programmers who are programming agentic AI,
Yeah,
the top programmers getting paid $7,500 a day on average.
Lord.
Now that's the top one.
Yeah, well,
You know what I mean? But there's a lot of people making $300, $400, $500 a day working at home off the BitTensor blockchain.
That's wild.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to work into. So my plan is, I'm starting an AI agency. It'll be open for the public in January. I'm going to offer automations for businesses and then consulting for how to incorporate AI and blockchain technologies into any business. I'm also going to be personally doing different AI services for the BitTensor blockchain, and then coaching and stuff like that for
good though. I mean,
decentralized finance, primarily focused on BitTensor.
I think there's a big. I believe there's a big a need for a big demand for it. People want decentralized banking because you don't want to wake up one day and think, if I go down to the bank and try to get my money, somebody's trying to draw their money out today for whatever reason, I'm not able to get my money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that would be to me that would be. I mean, when they quit giving out food stamps during the shutdown, I thought, well, that's a good way to start. Right, but the better way is to make people tell me they can't get their money. There'll be some violent people out here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it might be good for society to decentralize,
And so what I've learned through the BitTensor blockchain and its ecosystem is that things being open source, like giving away the code, not gatekeeping,
right?
Things being decentralized, and things being permissionless. It actually cultivates innovation, and you'd be surprised at. So I'll give you an instance. So OpenAI trained a model of like AI, a large language model, and it cost them over $10 billion to train this model. Or no, several $billion to train this model. Gradients on BitTensor done it for like $10 million.
Yeah.
Using people similar to myself and Chris, in their home labs.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And man, that to me, who would have thought that competing against these huge server farms, teams of software engineers, that you could do it cheaper, you know what I mean, and come out with a like product.
Yeah, that's wild.
That is, man, and it really just speaks to how well a permissionless system works.
Yeah. Well,
so, like, if you have the ability and you wanted to build on one of their projects, you can with nobody's permission but your own. You just want to go do it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that sounds like American ingenuity to me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, man. It
embodies the American spirit.
I don't even fully understand it yet, but it's just such a revolutionary thing. And what's super cool about it is, so it was like I was explaining to you earlier. Bitcoin and it have the same tokenomics, and when Bitcoin was at the 9 to 10 million token range, the highest price it had ever been was $119, and at average it was $10 to $12. The average for BitTensor, which is right now, is $270 to $330, and its highest price was $757, and today you can buy that token for $330.
Wow.
Yeah. So in 2031, that token could theoretically be $60,000 on its current trajectory.
Yes.
If it followed Bitcoin's, it would be $20,000. So you're looking for at between $20,000 and $60,000 for a $330 investment today in 5 years.
You can't beat that.
No, and people won't believe it, because whenever you read about the BitTensor blockchain, it's geared towards developers. And
Yeah.
it's like, man, it is complicated. It is tough. I had to sit here with AI, and it took me forever just to get things set up and kind of going. And I mean, it's an endeavor.
I bet it
But
is.
you can go on Coinbase and just buy the token and just hold it. Just like any other crypto. But to contribute to the blockchain, you got to be technical.
Yeah.
And but that's what I'm
Yeah.
coaching people on, man. And so I took $900, and in 6 or 7 weeks, I turned it into 1,500.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I mean? That's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't sell it, and it plummeted back down to 700.
Right,
But I know that if I just keep adding to it
right.
in 2030, man, whenever I've got 50, 60, 100 tokens, I'm likely to break 1 million.
Hell yeah. I've
You know
heard
what I
that
mean?
happen.
And so it is really, people want to go back in time and buy Bitcoin. You need to buy BitTensor today
Yeah, I said
because it's outperforming it by 3,000%.
Oh yeah, I bet it is.
I just wrote a paper and I had a video on it on my business page.
Go ahead and go over a couple of things. I'm gonna take a small interlude here.
Yeah, you've got to do it to where I can share.
You should be able to.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. All right, everybody. I'm Nathan Martin, and we are fixing to go over my paper. So, right here. Let's see. Trying to find the paper. Oh, well, it's probably over here in notes, actually. No. All right. So, we'll look here on Tau Stats. And so, you come to Tau Stats, and this will show you the subnets. And the subnets are the 128 decentralized companies. Most of them are heavily using AI or building AI. So Root is the blockchain. It's what secures the network. Now then, the number 2 ranked subnet is Shoots. And so this right here is the emissions. And so the emissions are so many tokens that get issued, and so I believe it's 7,500 tokens. So I believe it's in December, the first BitTensor halving happens, and the emissions get knocked in half. So every time a block goes through, Shoots gets 8.86% of the tau emissions. And then it's split. So half of it goes to, a small percentage of it goes to the actual Shoots subnet. And then I think it's less than 10%. I'm not exactly sure. But then like 40 something percent goes to the validators and 40 something percent goes to the miners. And so that's how they get paid. And so the tokenomics for each subnet is just like Bitcoin still. So you can look here and we can see, so anytime that these charts are going up, that means that the subnet is outperforming tau. So you can stake your tau to root and get something. I think right now it's at like 15 or 20%. It depends on the validator. And it be safe. Or you can stake to a subnet. And so 8% of this subnet's pool is tau. And what will happen is once this token supply hits the 21 million, the tau in the pool will start growing. And it will start raising the price of Shoots. So what you want to do is you want to buy early. So right now, the price of Shoots is $23.90 per alpha token. See how it shows the 1% down? It's going down just a little bit. But what you're wanting is a subnet that's outperforming tau. And so then what happens is let's say you will look at my portfolio. I've just got a little bit of money in here. So we'll look at the month. See, I'm down to $758 right now. I was at $1,500. When I started, let's see, we'll look at the year. 500. Then I added some. Now it's at $916. 2.66 tokens. That was the last time I added. So I'm still above. I've still earned some tau, but my tau has been as high as 3.35. That's because the subnet that I staked to. So right here, I'm staked to Swarm, and I'm using the tau stats validator. So we come over here and look at the data. Look, just with 700 and something dollars, I'm in the top 12% of alpha holders in this subnet. That's how early we are. That's so very little money. So you can see things are way down, and I bought while it was high. But whenever I first got in, but you've got to be able to look at this and be like, man, my alpha tokens are down 44%. It's okay. It's okay. The only time that's a problem is when you're borrowing against your tokens. Never borrow against your tokens. I've learned that. I never borrow against my tokens anymore. If you do
Well, wait a minute. Like this, don't say never.
No,
But
I'm
when you
telling
do,
you, I never will borrow against my tokens again.
when you do, you got to do it the right way. Preferably, you should use stablecoin and borrow against those.
You're right. That's different. Never borrow against your tokens. Borrow against stable coins. That's
Yeah,
correct.
you better. If you do, you better keep that liquidation rate like super low. Because you'll wake up one day and that whole fucking loan will be liquidated.
If you're borrowing against stable coins, that is right. If you do it at all.
Yeah. Or you got to do it like I do with the multiple assets and multiple loans. But you got to, you know what I mean? It works for me, and I never have to worry. Right.
But anyways,
yeah.
So so let's say you're interested in Swarm. You come to a website called Subnet Alpha. In Subnet Alpha, you come to the directory, and these are all the subnets. View profile. So, this subnet is about decentralized, it's a specialized decentralized AI subnet focused on autonomous drone flight control. And let's say, man, I'm interested in this, and it's something that I want to learn how to do. You come to their GitHub. And then you scroll down. And then you read all this. And so, if you have a lot of tau, you can consider being a validator. But most people are going to consider being a miner. And miners provide pre-trained RL policies that are evaluated on secret tasks. Any framework is allowed. Stable baseline 3, custom PyTorch, etc. Must export models in compatible format for validator evaluation. And so what you do is you read this documentation and you look at the reward mechanism. And if you're like, man, this is something that I can do, then you look for on here and you probably start on the documents right here, and you would go through that. What I'm doing, or what I'm in the process of doing, is this Data Universe. Data Universe decentralizes and scales data storage for BitTensor, supporting extensive data collection and distribution. So what this subnet does is it scrapes Twitter or X, YouTube, and Appify for data. So what happens is you make these data scraping bots, and it tells you exactly how to do it on the GitHub. So you click this little emblem here, GitHub, and you'll want to click on the Discord too. But you go to the GitHub, and you read this documentation, the overview, and then you go through here, and it'll say getting started. And C miner setup. So you'll click on this, and you go through here, and you look and see it does not require a GPU, can run on a low tier machine, as long as you have significant bandwidth, meaning your internet speed, and disk space. So you come through here, you clone the repo, you make sure that your environment is set up, whether or not you're using virtual or Conda. I use virtual. And you just follow these instructions. And then you want to configure your miner. And once you get your miner configured, you'll need to get your AP. Well, while you're configuring your miner, you'll need to get your API keys. And so you just get with, I personally prefer Gemini or Copilot, and you use them to walk you through each step. Now then, something that's important is you need to basically get each step written out. So break out the notepad on your computer and have AI put all the steps out. Copy and paste your steps to the notepad. And then what you'll do is as you complete the steps, you put the vital information in on the notepad. That way you've got a log. And each time you complete a major step, like getting an API key for Amplify and configuring the code for Amplify, this right here, your scraper. This one's for X. So what you'll do is you'll get your scraper ID, you'll get your API, you'll set all these things, and you log each part of it. And every time you complete one, let's say you're going from this, don't stay in that same context window. Close, maybe even save that chat, but close it and open up a new chat. And now I'm going to do it for Appify. Log it. Close that chat. Do it for YouTube. Do it. Log it. Save the chat. Start a new one. Launch the miner. Then you want to make it persistent, meaning that if your computer crashes or your internet kicks you off or your power goes off, that it will automatically reboot. You need a manager to manage the scrapers. That way, whenever the data, when the validators call for specific data, that these things are completed efficiently. And you'll have to set up your wallets. And there's two ways that you can do the setting up of your wallets. So one way is up here, your extensions to BitTensor Wallet. So like right here, I've got Data Universe Cold Key, Data Universe Hot Key. You've got to have a hot key to be able to mine. And that hot key has to be, let's see, what's the word? It's got to, man, it's not really combined. It needs to be associated with a cold key. And so let's say, so like my main funded, that's where I've got all my swarm. I don't want my mining and those wallets that are actively working on the blockchain to be associated with my main cold wallet. I just don't. And so another thing is so let's say you wanted to make a new wallet. You would go to Chrome extensions. Here, we'll do this. And so we'll go Chrome extensions BitTensor wallet. So you'd click here, and then you would add. This would be add. So then once it's added, you'd click up here where your extensions are in your Chrome browser, and then you would click on BitTensor wallet. And let's say I don't have any of these, or I want to make another one. You come to the plus, and now you make a wallet. So I'm going to make a wallet. Now the interesting thing about this password is this password can be changed. It must be at least 8 characters. So I put dummy with a capital D, so I'm going to put a capital W, A, L, L, E, T. Now this is super bad password choice because my account name's Dummy Wallet, but we're just making a wallet. Huh. There we go. And then you hit next. So right here, so anytime that you make a wallet on BitTensor, you're going to get what's called a seed phrase. And so often, there's several different ways. You're going to want to get you a notebook. And you're going to want to write these down. Going to want to write all these down. and you want them in order. And you can copy them to a clipboard. You can copy them to your clipboard. And then you come to your notebook. And then, so you'll come here and paste. And then I made my password. So, and then you come here and you save as. And then you'll want to put it somewhere. You know, I've got right here tau mining, but you're going to want to save it. So what I'm going to tell you to do is whenever you save it, put a dot in front of it. And whenever you do that, what it does is it hides the file. So then you'll save it. And then whenever you want to search for the document again, remember to have the dot. And you see how all these files come up? You'll be able to find it. But that's what you do. So I'm not going to finish creating it because I don't want that wallet. But that's how you create a wallet. Then you come to Tau Stats. And you'll go from your Coinbase. You'll buy your Tau on Coinbase. And then you'll get your BitTensor wallet, copy it, go from Coinbase, send it to your wallet once you get your Tau. And then you will load your wallet. So you'll come here to your profile. Your BitTensor wallet will come up, the one that you've got funded. Select it, and it'll ask you your name and an email and all that stuff. And then you'll have some options. And your options are, do you want to stake to root? You can come down here, this little thing, not this one, that's for Chrome, but this one right here, you can ask Doug. And ask Doug, say, what APR is root and SN64, which is shoots. So the top validator is you're making a 30-day APY. So every 30 days you're getting 7.62% on average. And every 30 days on shoots, you're getting 64.43. And so all right, are you in, bro? So let's see. We'll ask about the one that I'm on. What about Tau stats SN 124, and that's Swarm and the validator. See, and you come through here. Now then, the month beforehand, it wasn't real low like this. It was 100 and something percent. We just had that huge crypto crash, so right now is a good time to buy. But let me stress this to y'all. If you don't have a stomach for risk, what you do is you buy your Tau, you stake it to root, you get your 7%, and you just let price appreciation do what it does. And, if you, like this spring, when we're anticipating the top of the bull market, sell, and then wait for the market to crash and buy back in, or you just keep buying and never sell, hodl, and, in 5 or 10 years, people are going to be wondering why they didn't buy BitTensor because it's outperformed Bitcoin. And for those of you who haven't, go to my page, Stewardship Solutions, and read my explanation on why and the math on how BitTensor is outperforming Bitcoin by 3,000%, because they have the same tokenomics. But when Bitcoin was 9 million tokens to 10 million tokens, its average price was $10 to $12, where BitTensor 100. Right now we're at $266. FlameWire, this is it says at risk. Subnet is of deregistration. Wow. So, yeah, I was talking to Chris about this earlier. If a subnet does not perform well, it is at risk of deregistration. it gets, I think, a 3 or 4 month window. And if it doesn't do well, it gets deregistered. If you're not active, let's see, it can be started after a 7-day waiting period. No emissions occur until activation. And then immune. So you get so many months of immunity. And, you know, this stuff, I'm going to tell you, it is complicated for the average person. That's no lie. But the average person can learn this. And the best way to learn it, and you should learn it, in my opinion, is go to BitTensor, their website, right here, bittensor.com. And you start at about. You read the introduction. You read the summary. You come all the way down. And then the next thing you do is you go to the documentation. And you read all this stuff. It's all here. But other than just buying BitTensor and staking it to root, like I said, or, if you want to, I do not suggest staking to subnets until you understand have some idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
It's really complicated. Chris, I don't know. Did you hear where I was showing that? Look at these 3 subnets right here at risk of getting deregistered.
Because they don't have enough going on?
Because they don't have enough going on. So look,
could you imagine pouring all that into the investments and getting it up and running and shit, and then it not fucking getting delisted? And
yeah, so we have 3 immune subnets right now. Right here, subnet 49, subnet 100.
You want to, you can.
And subnet 86.
Eric. He's my partner from Chicago. He just joined the meeting too. Eric, this is Steve. I'll be back in just a minute.
Hey man, nice to meet you, Evan.
World Domination Hours to you, Steve. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh, man, I've been learning some stuff about Bitcoin today. I think this is the best angle.
So like this, and it's a really crazy what some of these are doing. I think Better Therapy, if I'm not mistaken, let's see. Let's see, 102. See what Better Therapy does. The most affordable AI-driven mental health care platform leveraging the power of digital AI, Twin Doctors. So they even have subnets on here that you can send your MRIs to be, I guess, scanned or whatever.
Yeah.
This right here, Bitcast, if I'm not mistaken, some of the miners are making $300 to $500 a day because Bitcast rewards creators with TAL for producing brand content. So anybody can do this. You get on here. So let's say you wanted to mine Bitcast. The first you'd want to go to their Discord, but you would start at their GitHub.
And is it just as simple to become a validator as well?
Well, to become a validator, you have to have a certain amount of tau.
I see
So
what you're saying.
yeah, in a perfect world, it would be easier to start probably as a validator, but they make you start typically at mining because of the entry. But yes, if you have enough tau, we can look at the validator too. Not everybody's broke like I am, so I probably should go over that. So right here, validators maintain the integrity of the network by retrieving analytic data versus OAuth, verifying content engagement, dispersing on-chain rewards to miners. So then, let's say you wanted to do the validator. You go through, it's the same process as the miner, just different instructions. So
Okay.
you need to
So
have,
there's a barrier to entry. Okay, I see what you said. There's a certain amount of tau you have to enter. Is it the same when you want to create a subnet? Because I noticed that you said the
yeah,
subnets are
so
essentially businesses, right?
yeah, so I forget, let's ask Doug. I believe it costs something like $80,000.
To list a subnet.
What do I need to own a subnet? Okay. So to own a subnet, okay, you got to design your purpose. You have to have the technical skills. So you've got to be able to use the BitTensor SDK. Tau for registration. So, wallet, subnet code base, validator setup, ongoing maintenance, details of current cost. It's so cool that on Tau Stats that they've got Doug, because now you can just come through here. Okay, so to register, you need 344.5 tau. Let's get out a calculator. We're going to round it up to 345 times 270. So if you wanted to do it today, you would need over $90,000. Okay, let's see. I'm asking how much it is to be a validator. So it is 1,000 tau minimum to be a validator on any subnet.
Noted.
Huh?
Noted. That's good information for sure. On the rim.
Yeah, so boy, that's expensive, isn't it?
Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, so 1,000 tau. Let's see, just to make sure that I'm not looking at this wrong. You need $275,000 to be a validator at minimum. So yeah, that it'd be cool. So we're probably going to have to mine Bitcast. I don't know about you, bro.
You said
But
mining's the way, eh?
mining looks like how I'm gonna have to go. So let's see. Let's go back and see the miner setup. So you need a YouTube server which enables mining on the Bitcast subnet, responds to validator requests, and a temporary read access token for your YouTube APIs. So for those of you who don't know how to get your YouTube token, you can use Claude or OpenAI's ChatGPT or almost any large language model and say, hey, I'm wanting to mine the BitTensor subnet Bitcast. How do I get my YouTube API? And so, okay, content requirements. Do not register until you hit these. And so, this is what I'm working on right now. Is your channel must be 21 days old. You have to have more than 100 subscribers. You have to have a 10% or greater average retention. So that's the amount of time that people are watching your videos. And 1,000 minutes watched over the last 90 days. You need a YouTube partner program membership or sufficient alpha to stake. And so then your system requirements, it's really low. You could do this with a Chromebook. You know what I mean? It's so you could do it with WSL or a virtual private server, which you can typically do this for under $20 a month. And so then you go through, you clone the repo, you set up your virtual environment, and then you create your project, you enable your APIs, you configure your OAuth, create your OAuth credentials, and then you publish the app. Then you go through here and you activate your virtual environment, and then you create your wallets. And so where these red things are in between, you erase that completely and put your wallet name with just a single space. So you would erase that whole part, and then you'd have a single space on each side or two spaces, and then you enter your wallet name. And whenever you do that and it creates the wallets, on your terminal screen, you're going to have your seed phrases come on. Absolutely be sure to save those seed phrases, because if you shut that terminal window, or not shut it, but you close it, like permanently, you terminate the terminal session, your seed phrases or your seed words are gone forever. it'll go through here and it'll tell you. And right here, you've got right here where you can use AI to help you inside GitHub. Anybody can do these things. You just have to be patient. But let me give y'all some advice. So, I'm starting an AI agency, and so I'm starting to learn that I'm a big decentralized open source guy. I really love open source. I think it's great, but we've got to face the reality of there are tech giants, mainly Google, that have a stranglehold on most of society. And what's important to note about this is, so you can come right here at Google and you click right here, Google Apps, all these apps. You should be familiar with these apps. And you should be intimate with them. And so let's go to Google Cloud. Now, you don't need any money. See, you've got, you can have, we'll use this one. And let's click here. Let's go to my dashboard. And you come through here and you want to sign up for the Google Developers Program and all this stuff. Look at your profile. And this isn't the one that I use. I use my business one. But you can use all these things. And so if you're wanting to get into AI and you're wanting to get into making money online, whether it's content creation, drop shipping, or anything, hold on, my daughter's crying, or anything, you need to pick a platform and stick with it. Hold on, baby. Here you go. I'm sorry. You okay? Yeah. So you need to stick with a platform and work with it. And I believe personally that Google's the one. And so you can come through here and you can earn these badges, and so these APIs, learn all of this stuff, because there's so much. I'm just learning it too. But look, so for no money, you get access to Gemini Code Assistant, Gemini CLI, which that's basically an AI agent that works in your terminal, 10 Firebase Studio workspaces, Gemini and documentation and tools, 35 monthly Google skill credits, invitations to communities events, all this stuff. And whenever you go to here, the first thing that they give you is $500 in Gen AI, $45 here in the cloud, and they give you, I think, $300 for advertising. So as soon as you go to paid, now, just as a suggestion, I would start here and learn everything that you can for free. Then, once you're starting to hit the wall of, hey, I need to start advertising, I need to start having more workplaces and all of that stuff, then I would pay. So, all this stuff works together. I didn't just wake up one day and be like, hey, I want to run an AI agency. I want to do business consulting for AI. I want to mine the BitTensor. How it started is I wanted to mine cryptocurrency. Well, I was working construction and just never could. Then it turned out that, and they say, need is the mother of innovation. It turned out I couldn't no longer go to work construction. So now I've got to make money digitally. And so I know that BitTensor is the biggest opportunity that is out there today. If people who are dealing with cryptocurrency took their money, put it in BitTensor, it's under $300 today, mark my words, by 2031, the high price of BitTensor will have hit. The high price will be no lower than $20,000, but my prediction is that it'll be $60,000 a token will be its high price. Anyways, the other thing to learn is automation. And so the automation dang. Let's see here. Oh yeah, so you got Google AI Studio. There's just so much stuff. So right here, this is an automation that I'm working on. So I have memory of my chats. So basically I'll open up the chat and it'll come here. And then depending on what I say, it will select one of these models. So it'll select either Gemini 2.5, Flash, Pro, Nano, Banana, which is image generation, Ollama, which will be the local AI agent that I'm running off my GPU, which I haven't set up yet. And then ChatGTP 4 Mini, ChatGTP 5, or Sora 2. Then, if something happens here, my fallback agent will be my local agent that I haven't set up for, that's running off my GPU. And I'll have a simple memory. So each of these simple memories, you know how whenever you're using ChatGTP and it seems like every 5 or 10 questions it forgets what y'all are talking about? Well, that's what this simple memory is for. So my context window is 1 short of 10,000. So it comes through here to the AI agent. It'll select a model. It's got a simple memory. But this right here, the quadrant vector store, what it does is I can upload documents. So let's say I'm going to be working on the BitTensor blockchain, or we'll go with you, Eric. We'll talk about you work a lot on Algorand, so we could load all the documentation of how to build on Algorand and all the code, everything there is to know for Folks Finance, for Tinyman, for Algorand, and any other thing that you're working on the Algorand chain. And we can put it into a Google Drive. And then what the vector store does is it takes it and it categorizes each word into a vector, which means that you can query searches. So let's say, we know that a chair, a recliner, a stool, a lawn chair, a sofa, a couch, that if I was to put in, hey, what do you know about furniture you sit in? Or, it's hard for me to explain.
Are you talking about the algorithm?
No, what I'm talking about is all the information. You ever asked AI something, and because it didn't give you the right answer because you
ask it a different way?
You couldn't remember the exact word for it to search, but you used similar words, but it never could put it together?
Yes.
That's because of vectoring.
Yeah, okay.
Meaning it's finding, like you were saying, for example, a seating area. If you say chair, sit, it knows generally that it needs to find something else you can sit in, but not necessarily exactly.
Or let's say you call it a lazy boy. It'll know to search for recliners.
Right.
Or let's say you call something a token, but really it's a coin. Because there is a difference between coins and tokens.
There is.
It will.
You want to make the distinction so people kind of know?
Yeah. So a Bitcoin is a coin. Tau is a coin. WealthWave is a token. Algorand is a coin. The native token or coin is the coin. It is not a token. What's built on top of the blockchain, an altcoin is really typically tokens.
Right. And
Ethereum,
I guess if we're being technical,
Ethereum is an altcoin, but is not a token.
Right. But if we're being technical, though, they're all considered tokens because they're all NFTs, basically.
Yeah.
So
but there is a difference that certain AI models may not know the difference.
Right. And the whole vectoring thing, that also has to do with the mixing of the signals between multiple Wi-Fi's and signals and shit like that.
So it's got a widespread term, but in this.
But what you're speaking on is, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so what it'll do is so my embeddings is OpenAI. So anytime I'm needing to call for this specific data, let's say it's Algorand data.
Right.
Since I have embeddings of OpenAI, none of my Google or Ollama models can retrieve this data because it's vectored specifically for OpenAI.
You know what? That coincides with the vectoring, though, because that's what vectoring does. Is it separates those frequencies and signals to keep them from cross what they call it, cross something. But anyway, that's the way that's how they're able to do that, is because they isolate the frequencies and the signals to keep the vectoring from happening. That way, like you said, its only specific route is through that channel. And so if you vector separate that frequency or signal, then none of those others can. Damn, the term is cross something.
So before, for it to have so much knowledge about the Algorand blockchain, it would have to do a web search because it wasn't trained on it.
Right.
Before the vector store, you would have to retrain a model to be able to do it. Now you don't have to retrain. You can use the vector store, and now this information that's in the vector store is almost as good as fine-tuned training.
Okay, dude. I like it.
Through its memory here of using this data and applying it, produces something that is like fine-tuned training, but it's like training on the job.
Right.
So this right here, I'm adding. So this RAG is pretty cool. So right here, we'll close in on it. So these are your Google Drives. So you upload your Google Drives, it goes to your Pinecone Vector Store, then it has Google embeddings, and then the AI agent here, you'll talk to it. It goes through all this, but anyways, what this RAG does is where I have OpenAI embeddings, this RAG gives me the Google embeddings. And then I use this merge to connect it to this vector store. And now either model, all the models can do it except for my backup Ollama model, which I still have to work that in. But then I'm going to have this AI agent, so I can connect it to other tools. So, I can... Man, there's just so much stuff that you can do. What I'm planning on doing... Look, I can add CoinGecko. But what I'm planning on doing is... So right here, sends data to Discord. This is what I was looking for. Back to Canvas. So there's this. And now I need GitHub. I still got to add the tools or the credentials. Add GitHub, and then my next one will be YouTube. And then Facebook. Dang, I'm having a problem linking this, so... Okay, so it's linked there. I'm still learning how to do all this, but you see what the point is, right? So it all starts, my trigger is a chat with this memory. Then the AI agent decides what to do. And then it comes through here and it can create a channel. It's going to build my Discord. It's going to build my GitHub. It's going to build my Facebook. And so what I'm building here is where my job is going to be creative. And so let's say that I get the AI agency gets a job. What it's going to do is the automation, once it's tested and works, it's going to post it on my GitHub, open source code. Then it's going to post it on my Discord. Then an AI agent is going to summarize, which I've got to put, work on all this stuff. It's still far from being in there. What I really need in between here would be a script. So it'd come here and I'd put a script or a function. Code in JavaScript or Python.
Yeah, you're not playing, Nathan. You elbows deep in this stuff.
Yeah, and man, to tell you the truth, so, and you can sit here and test it. You know what I'm saying? And let's say you go in here and, you want to, there's just all kinds of stuff that you can do, man. I'm still learning. I'm going to be in January offering automated services, but it's going to be, they're not going to be complex systems like this. It's going to be how to automate. Let's see, right here, let's look at some of these automations. So somebody's going to tell me that they've got a problem. And let's see. Maybe what it is they've got a bunch of emails coming through. You know what I'm saying? And they need to, okay, so like right here, somebody emails you, you get their contact address, you validate the email, see if the email is basically spam or not. If it's not, it will send it to Slack. And then from Slack, you've already got an AI agent that is deciding whether or not you need to read the email or if it's about work. You see what I'm saying? and then it sends it to Slack. And you're saving time by not having to read your emails. Or let's say you have an ad. You know how you can be on YouTube and you're to learn more, and then you put in your name, your email, and your phone number? Well, let's say that person, as soon as they click off the ad, they don't buy anything. Well, you can have an AI agent immediately call that person as a follow-up, because they say that you have a 370 something percent higher rate of a sell by calling somebody within 60 seconds of them clicking off of it versus an hour. It's just all kinds of stuff, man. So let's say marketing. We'll look at the marketing templates. Summarize YouTube videos from transcripts. Analyze landing page with OpenAI. Okay, right here, this is a cool one. So you get your emails, and it takes your emails, determines whether or not it's spam, and then it takes the emails and sends it to Google Sheets and makes a spreadsheet. I mean, let's say that you're running an online store, and people are messaging you about late deliveries or returns or bad products, like the product was damaged. And so this automation reads your emails, decides what the problem is or if it's spam, and then sends it to your Google Sheets. And so, for instance, I use Google Sheets myself. So you come and look at my page, Stewardship Solutions, and you come here. This is my public operations. So this is right here. Anybody can look at this. This is from Google Sheets. And this is an AI automated thing where I set a goal, and for me to launch the agency, it has dates, it's connected to my calendar, and I know that by, let's see, today, did I let him in? Okay. Yeah. So, that's a really powerful automation, because I just gave you a real world example of, let's see, workflow automation. Okay, yeah, this one right here. So Eric, I don't know if you've seen. So this automation here, you get your emails, it decides what the email is about, and then it sends it to Google Sheets. And so I use Google Sheets for my own company thing. This is AI generated. And so this is for me to launch the agency. And this is my checklist, so I can sit here and check it. And this helps me stay on time. It's connected with my calendar. Pretty cool. So I'm going to be offering easier automations than the one I just showed you. I mean, the one I just showed you is, crazy. It's just kind of fun, and I like doing this stuff. But the stuff that people want is that no business person wants to waste hours with emails. Nobody wants to do it. And why should you have to? When AI, you can have an AI agent scan all of your emails, decide, you can set a logic for how important each subject is, and then it just puts it in line to where whether you're working off Slack or Sheets or whatever, and you just go down the line and you'll get so much more done. But yeah. Yeah. No. Okay, thank you. But yeah. I don't know if you're still listening, Chris. I'm done. I've rambled long enough. I'm fixing to get off here. But if y'all aren't already, follow me on Facebook, Stewardship Solutions. If you're interested in automations, hit me up. If you're wanting to learn about the BitTensor blockchain, hit me up. Yeah.